about this task force. So it was called back in May because the district closed their budget with a $30 million deficit. And it was one approach that the district is taking to look at stabilizing their budget over the future years. And one thing I've learned is that from a financial and accounting perspective, they look at last year, this year, next year. So a lot of what we've looked at, which has been incredibly comprehensive, every dollar that is spent in the district has really been looking at what's important, what would be recommendations, and what are things that we're not comfortable cutting. And it was people volunteered to be on the task force, and trustees appointed people. I live in the linear attendance zone, and Tasch appointed me to the task force. And we have a student member who it ends up is also from the McCallum community. And I know one of the task force members especially asked for us to mention that at this point everything is under recommendation, and the task force will be looking at what they do and they don't recommend moving forward, and then it will go to the superintendent, and ultimately the board of trustees are the ones who would make any decisions. So at this point, everything is in really just a looking at. For example, the meal that was provided to the task force tonight, there was like a whole discussion, if we're looking at budget, should we even be providing food, but then people are volunteers and they're coming at 5:30, and then versus maybe the first meeting they served us pizza, then there's this whole revenue capturing that the items actually come from within the district's food service budget. So just ways that can be a little bit more creative, take a little bit more advantage of what we already have, are definitely looked at on the table. And I believe that the Budget Stabilization website is being continuously updated, and we have a really in-depth library of all that we've been learning about school finance and the district and the budget. What am I missing? I just thank you guys for all being here and being part of this community and, taking this to a higher level. I think sometimes, unfortunately, we divide against each other, and we're like, wait, we need to protect our finance academy, and we need to protect this or we need to protect that. But all of us throughout the district, we're all in this together, and we're all choosing to have our children in public school. We're choosing to have our children in the district, and we certainly don't want to feel destabilized. Can I apply for this program next year? Or, is this still going to be something tenable? So I think that's part of the value of our community, and I appreciate you. You have a question.
Are you guys actually in charge of budgeting anything? For example,
Great question. Okay.
Hi, my name is Sophie Ryland. A lot of y'all might know me. I'm a senior here at McCallum, former academy. So I wanted to talk about a few things. First of all, I wanted to clear up. So the thing about McCallum that was being spread around that we were planning on cutting the Fine Arts Academy kind of stemmed from one meeting. We were looking at maybe some bold choices we could make. And one suggestion was to reallocate resources from academic magnet schools, such as LASA, to underserviced schools where maybe they don't have a robotics lab or they don't have this particular AP program. So the idea was not in any way we're going to cut magnet and choice programs entirely and then just use the money elsewhere. The idea was more just reallocating resources fairly, and the idea was never to cut specialized choice programs like the Fine Arts Academy. So we are looking at everything that isn't technically required by the state, but Fine Arts Academy is not in any imminent danger. Another thing I wanted to talk about is we're really looking at two things on the task force. We're looking at short-term solutions, which are things that people have been worried about, teacher pay, class schedules, that kind of thing, but we're really trying to look at long-term stuff, like preventing teacher turnover so that we can have more stable schools and staffs and, improve student achievement. So it's not just us looking about ways we can cut, it's us looking at changes we can make so that the district operates more efficiently and students learn better in the future. That's all the procedural stuff. I just wanted to say from a student perspective, I these past 2 years, I've gotten more and more involved in district politics, and I think it's so important to be active and aware of what's happening in our community. Last year, I joined our Campus Advisory Council, which is an advisory body for McCallum that meets once a month or so, and we talk about things concerning the campus. So that's one resource right there, where you can go to these meetings and see what's happening, what they're talking about, provide a second opinion. I'm also in the District Advisory Council, which is another advisory body meeting where we talk about issues directly affecting students. And all of these meetings are open to students. You can always come, you don't even have to have a speech prepared, you don't have to have questions, you can just show up and see, what are they talking about, what's concerning me. And I also urge students to keep up with news, look at Boston Monitor, look at Austin American Statesman, look at, KUT, make sure you're aware of what's happening in the community, because it's important to be aware, oh my gosh, there is this budget shortfall, how does that affect me? And then those things really show up these meetings, your voices heard. It was really awesome to see everyone come out tonight, and I'm really hoping we see the same energy when it comes to district policy in the future, because it's so important for students to show up and say, this is my experience, and this is what you can do with it. So, thank you all for coming.
So Sophie just gave you an example of what we're really hoping comes out at the end of this meeting. It's a bunch of students, parents you're welcome to as well, but if you want to channel the energy and anxiety from last week into making change and getting involved. I'm joined this evening by Janice Cookout, who is a parent of a 9th grade band student who gave a great speech earlier. She's a community organizer for environmental justice. And executive director of Earth Day Austin. I'm also joined by Laura Yeager, who's a parent of a 2015 McCallum Fine Arts grad, a 2017 Anderson grad, and a current Mac Junior. She's a current member of the CACs at McCallum and Anderson, and a founder and board member of Texas Advocating for a Meaningful Student Assessment, a public education advocate, and a director of Texas Educators Vote. So part of what we really want to do tonight is clear up some of the information, which we've started to do, and I want to just give you the quick plan. I'm hoping that we'll be out within an hour when we started this. So we started with some of the background on the history of the task force. We're going to talk a little bit more about the big picture. We're going, including school finance. We're going to talk briefly about how do you do community organizing, what does it mean? We're going to give you some short-term action steps. We're going to talk about the long-term, and then we're going to brainstorm and debrief. I'm going to ask if we can take questions at the end, because I know there's a lot of people who have to get going. Those of us who can will stay and answer questions to the best of our ability. Before we say anything more, I just want to acknowledge that our new trustee, Kristen Ashe, is here. She's going to be... she's going to be bouncing back and forth, but one of the things on our short-term action sheet is for the students and their parents to invite the trustees to come and talk to them. She has volunteered, Cindy Anderson has volunteered, there's lots of AISD trustees who are concerned about our concerns. So thank you for being here after I'm sure what was a long night last night. Multiple people that could share with some of the people who didn't get them. So how are you? We will get these out on the listserv, and when one of you volunteers, we'll get someone to be able to make our form into a data form, and we'll get it out there. So you definitely want to capture it. If you want to make sure you have your email before you leave, pull out a piece of paper, or just give it to us before you leave, and we'll make sure that we get you the information. I want to set the expectation that our role tonight is to get things started. The three of us were concerned about the level of anxiety and this teachable moment that we wanted to take advantage of, but none of the three of us who are leading this have the ability to see this all the way through the legislative session to legislative sessions, etc. So we're really hoping that people step up and say that they want to lead, and I think all of us are committed to helping and sharing our knowledge of community organizing and our connections, but this is really going to take students and parents in the broader community to move forward. So we're kind of trying to get the ball started. One thing I can't say enough this evening is politicians listen to students. When young people come and talk to us, we pay attention. And we saw that tonight The members of the task force listened very carefully. Our McCallum students did an excellent job of advocating every one of you, so thank you for doing that. You've already started. So I'm going to just talk really briefly. I just want to sum up something on the task force because I think it's really important. So as Laura's going to go through, AISD is facing a shortfall of about $30 million and is trying to figure out where to cut. The task force was given the task of trying to make recommendations to the superintendent, who will then make recommendations to the trustees. In doing that, the task force is rightly looking at everything. And so in looking at everything, there's a line that will say choice programs or fine arts academy, etc. That being said, I've been on the phone with trustees, I talked to the superintendent, I have talked with other folks at AISD. The sky is not falling on the Fine Arts Academy this year. The sky is probably not falling for a few years. But the sky is falling on the district in the next couple of years. And Laura's going to talk about how much we send, but this year alone we're going to be sending $673 million to fund education elsewhere in the state. Now, every student in our state deserves an education, but the system is hurting Austin and Austin students, and that needs to change. Think about the numbers. We can all do that much math, right? We have a $30 million shortfall, and we're sending $673 million elsewhere. Something's wrong with that math. And we want to get you engaged and involved in helping us to think that through. The other thing that I want to address is that from everything I've heard, McCallum is a prize program. It is something that the district holds up as a way of bringing students into the district. It actually, if you look at some of the fact sheets, makes us money. But there's an elephant in the room that I heard from my own daughter and I've heard from others that I really want to address, which was this question of, if they did something, in the very, very, very unlikely event that something happened to Fine Arts Academy, would I have to transfer schools if I transfer into McCallum? And what I have heard over and over again is that AISD is focused on having a minimal disruption to students. And in every past instance, when they have changed boundaries, they have grandfathered students into where they're at school. And nobody at AISD thinks it would be a good idea to rip students out of a program that they're enjoying out of a school midstream, and that there would be every effort and no expectation otherwise, that every effort to allow students to continue their education at the school that they started on. And again, I want to stress it's a very, 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 very unlikely event that anything's happening to the Fine Arts Academy in that way. But if it were, there are precedents and policies that would prevent that worst nightmare that I'm hearing from the students. So I did want to clarify that. In this process, though, we have to understand that AISD is going to have to cut $30 million. It might not be the Fine Arts Academy or the programs related to it that benefit McCallum students all throughout the schools, but something else that McCallum could get cut that you care about. And so, yes, I want you to rest a little easier about Fine Arts Academy and the programs that everyone at McCallum enjoys through that association. But make no mistake, if the finance stuff continues, there will be cuts throughout AISD that you will not like. And no trustee can stand here and tell you that otherwise. But that can change. And Laura is going to talk about all that. I probably took credit for her presentation, but I did want to make some bigger statements on that.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here. I have the exciting role of talking about finance, school finance. And so we're going to start with a 2-minute video that is a much easier way to understand what's going on. We believe it's going to work. Let's see. Let's take a look. The system supports more than 5.3 million students, 8,700 campuses, and 1,200 school districts and charter. There's been a lot of talk about how the Texas public school finance system needs to be fixed. But what's wrong with the current system? Let's take a look. The system supports more than 5.3 million students,
8,700 campuses, and 1,200 school districts and charters. It's complex, but understanding the basics and why it is important is relatively simple. Think of funding schools in Texas as filling up a glass. The size of the glass represents the amount of money the system uses to educate all of our students. Texas gives the state legislature the responsibility to decide how big the glass is and how it gets filled. Funding education is a shared commitment between local property taxpayers and the state. When the modern Texas school funding system was created in 1993, state and local contributions were roughly even. This shared responsibility felt right and fair. As property values in Texas began rising after the 2008 financial crisis, however, the state shares started to decline. In 2019, the state share is projected to be only 38%, and it will continue to decline to historic lows without significant change. This decline has saved the state billions of dollars over time, savings that could have been invested back into our public schools. So how does this affect Texas taxpayers? It means the state is relying more on local taxes to fund public schools. It also means when your property increases in value and your taxes rise, your public schools don't see additional benefit. Wait, that doesn't seem right, does it? Shouldn't money intended for schools stay in our schools? If the state saves billions from increased local property taxes, shouldn't that savings go to improve and expand student programs and pay our teachers more? Instead, that savings is going to other things in the state budget, while spending on Texas students remains flat, despite higher expectations and rising costs. That also...
Got this.